Hey guys, it's your girl Marian from MB Elite Realty and Brick House Collective team. So today we decided to talk about the buyer's consultation and what it entails. I'm on the way this morning to meet up with a client who has to be to work this afternoon, so she needs a very early morning appointment. So during that appointment, we're going to talk about some of the expectations that I have and some of the expectations that the client has. So some of the expectation that I may have is to know that this client is willing to work with me and me only, and understand that I'm a realtor professional. This is what I do for a living, and how I help her or help any client is by first listening to what they need. I work for them. So when we find that property and you love that property and you tell me, I love this property, but I think that this is an unsafe area or there's issues pertaining to what you say you're looking for, it's my job to tell you, hey, I know you love this property, but here are some concerns that I may have. This is me working for you. If you still want to move forward with that property, many times, depending on the situation, I'll have you sign something that tells you what my professional advice is, and if you still want to go a different direction, I support you in that, but I just want to make sure that you understand that you're being consulted with the best professional advice possible. Some of the things that I expect from a client is the same thing. If you say you're going to work with me, then I want you to work with me and me only. In doing so, we communicate frequently by whatever method is important to that person. If it's messenger, if it's messages, if it's by Facebook, if it's by phone call, if it's by text message, only by email, if they want to meet in person 3 times a week, it depends on that client, and I will let them know if their expectations is reasonable for me to meet. This way, during the buyer's consultation, we get to know each other, we get to feel out our personalities and know if we can work together. Not every client is for you, not every realtor is for you. If your personalities do not match and blend, you're going to have a hard time working together to make this transaction happen. So for me, it's important for me to get to know the person I'm working with. Even if it's a 5-minute quick conversation, you can learn a lot about a person in a very short period of time. So the buyer's consultation pretty much entails what type of properties are you looking for? What type of financing have you been approved for, if you have already been approved? If not, we discuss that process in getting you approved. We talk about your credit score. We talk about how many people are going to be on the deed. Are you married? Are you single? Do you have children? If you have children, the location of the school may be something that's important to you that may not be important to someone who does not have any children. If you have a dog and you're 23-year-old, you might want to know the local dark areas that have dog parks, because you want to be able to take your dog out for a walk, which may not be something important if someone else does not have a dog. So those are some of the things that we discussed during that time frame. It's in a very informal meeting. We just talk. We have a conversation. I know what the things I'm listening and looking for, and I know how to get to you the things that I want you to understand how the process works. We discuss once we narrow down the areas that you're interested in buying a home for. We discuss how we're going to get those properties with those homes over to you, which is through the multiple listing service. And when I send these properties out to you, it comes in an email. You click on the email, you look through the list of properties, you put a heart right on the service that's there. You put a little heart for the things you love. You put a little light bulb. This is maybe not, and absolutely not goes in the garbage. I get this list as in real time. As you're doing it, I can see this particular list that's happening. I can send you a note within that service to say, hey, I see you love this property. Are we going today? I know it's your day off. Do you have time today to go? Like, I can send you there, or I can text you, or you can text me directly, the MLS, however it's convenient for you. We can work within the MLS service app that's there, or you can just come outside of it. Hey, I seen this property that's on the list. Here's the address. Can you schedule me a showing? Now, what's important to know about showing, some of these properties are occupied, some of these properties are unoccupied, meaning vacant or owner or tenant occupied. So for the properties that are vacant, it's a possibility we can go see right away. The properties that are owner or tenant occupied, there's some appointments we will have to wait based on the occupancy of that particular property. So once we've gone out, we've seen the home, you like the home, we may see a good amount of homes before you like one. Let's just go with the scenario that you saw the first home. Oh my God, I have to have this house, Marian. I absolutely love it. Okay, let's do this thing. We go in, then I set up an offer that we put together with that client for that seller. And it entails your pre-approval to let them know that you are interested and serious by having this pre-approval. I run comps on that property, and I come back to you and says, hey, I think this property is overpriced. Look at these 5 other homes that sold in this area in the last 6 months, and none of them sold anywhere close to that price. So I also educate my client that if they're financing a home, a bank makes sure that the property they're purchasing is priced appropriately. So by me pricing it appropriately and the bank pricing it appropriately, it's going to get caught one way or the other. So if the person wants $250 for this home, but the house shows it's worth $205, when the bank does their appraisal, we're not paying $250 for that home. It's a whole different process that takes place once that happens. But sometimes it can be complicated. The seller is very attached to the home. They feel the value of the home is the value they want for the home. And I try to minimize all the stress for my client as possible. So by doing this CMA, which is a market report on that property, or the ones that sold like that property, I can provide some of that information with my offer to the seller to let them know, hey, based on the last 5 sales within the last 6 months, within a half a mile from this property, we're willing to offer you this much for the home. The seller can accept or decline the offer. Most of the times when I supply proof like that for the seller or for the listing agent that represents the seller, I meet with good results because they understand that I've done my homework, and yes, anyone can ask for anything, but it's based on what the values of the properties in the area have recently sold for when you're determining what the bank is going to finance for that property. So the same process I use to do a market analysis on the area, an appraiser is going to do the exact same thing or a little bit more detailed for the lending company that you choose to go with. So all of these things are described and explained during the process. I know it's a lot of information. I send out tons of emails and follow-up stuff, and we talk regularly about each step. Even though I've discussed it in the buyer's consultation, each step along the way, when we get to that point, I discuss that again. I do a lot of educating because having the education, I think the more you know, the more you know. So I like to have my clients very informed on what the process is. So number one takeaway is make sure you have good credit, pay your bills on time, so this way it gives you the best chance at getting the better pre-approval with a better interest rate so you can have maximum buying power and compete with everyone else that's out there. So once we know what that buying power is, then we can go out and look for a home. And I like to explain to my clients that they have to be realistic in what they're asking for. I know we want 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, 2-car garage in a perfect home, completely remodeled, and we want to pay as little bit as possible for that. This is not the current market that we're in. It's a seller's market currently right now. So there are many, many homes on the market, and there are 3 to 10 times more people looking to buy those homes on the market. Possibly the next day, the seller has already received multiple offers. So when we're putting in that offer, we're under heavy competition for other people who are looking for properties that are being bidded out by someone else who's also looking for that property. So we have to be very aggressive. If you're interested in the content that you've been receiving and would like to have other topics discussed, please leave it in the comments below. If you're interested in South Florida, Dade, Broward, or the Palm Beaches and would like to have a buyer's consultation to purchase property here, please reach out to me. My information is on the screen, or leave it in the comment below. Thank you.